Webcrawlers original.
Hello and welcome to Webcrawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into the weirdest, strangest, and most mysterious corners of the internet. I'm Allie Siegel.
And I'm Melissa Stettin.
Do we have any patrons today?
Oh, we do.
Ooh.
We have Gabrielle, Nettie V, and Richard.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the team. Boy, are you guys lucky because you have some Alien. You have some Alien Con footage. Alien Con footage coming your way. I'm so excited. Today, we are going to be talking about Maria and my adventures at Alien Con.
Wow. I had FOMO. I didn't
Alien
go
Con
because
FOMO?
my stupid-ass baby's not vaccinated
baby.
yet, and I don't want to deal with that. I'd for sure get COVID at Alien Con, for sure.
Right. Well, I'm surprised I didn't. There was no one there wearing a mask, so it was smart for you not to go. Yeah, no, a lot of
I
heavy
feel like
mouth
such a
breathing.
nerd wearing a mask now.
Honestly, it's so horrible because I do too sometimes. And I'm like, I still need to wear my mask. But when no one's wearing it, you feel kind of weird.
And I still know a ton of people that are getting COVID.
Oh, big time. Yeah, it's not cured. It's not gone. It's still out there.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed about Alien Con is that most people were normal.
Well, yeah, I would say, because we went like, was that 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was a
now?
really long time
Oh
ago.
my
It's so
God.
crazy. I know. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But-
was this in Pasadena?
Yes. So it was when we went, it was downtown.
It was
this
downtown
was at the
LA.
Pasadena Convention Center, way more convenient, but also smaller.
Oh.
Which I think it needed a smaller
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. I can't fill a stadium.
Yeah.
But when we went, there was a lot of people in costumes. I think it was a little
Yes.
campier. This was just your average Joe who believed in an alien and who was just coming to learn.
Check it out.
And I think that's honestly as a result of all the stuff that's been happening lately. And
that makes a lot of sense.
yes, and the government disclosing like,
Yeah.
yeah, UFOs, UAPs, they're a real thing. And it kind of lessens the stigma of believing in
Right.
it and the curiosity. So a lot of average Joes, I will say, the panels that we went to reeked of weed. So a lot of potheads there. A lot of potheads.
I bet.
Just to set the scene, Maria and I showed up. Maria had a backpack with a Ghostbusters backpack with a video recorder. A video recorder and an audio recorder with a mic in it. So she would have to like hold a mic and the video recorder. It was really funny. And we looked really professional. We had press passes. When we got there, I went up to the front desk and I said, "Hey, is there a press room?" And the guy kind of didn't acknowledge me. And he said, "Press check-in's over there." And I felt like anxious. So I left. And Maria and I were like, no, we need to really ask him if there's a press room, because Maria and I really wanted a muffin or like some sort of croissant.
I bet there's donuts in there.
Yeah, we were like, we want a press room that has like a coffee muffin.
Because there was a press room
Yes.
years ago when we went.
There was. I remember there was like candy and like things like that, like a little
coffee.
spread. So I went back, and I'm so scared of these kind of situations. I mustered all the courage I had, and I went back and I said, "Sir, I know where press check-in is, but I'm wondering, is there a room for press that has like a coffee muffin situation?" And he like thought it was so weird. And he ushered us to this other room, and it just had coffee, no muffins.
Okay.
So we got a hot cup of Joe, and then off we were to the races. The first panel, by the way, there's panels all day long from like 8 to 5 p.m. all weekend. It was
crazy.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We only got passes for Sunday.
Wow.
Okay, anyways, the first panel we went to was Ancient Aliens. Are UAPs the new UFOs?
What does UAP stand for again?
Good. It's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
But there's actually there's another name for it too, which I'll get into in a little bit. So on this panel was Nick Pope, Bill Burns, Dr. Travis Taylor, and Alejandro Rojas, who's a podcaster. But let me give you the lowdown on these panelists. Nick Pope was who Mulder was based on in the X-Files.
He's big in the UFO world.
Yes. So Nick Pope is a British journalist. He's a commenter. And he was an employee at the British government's Ministry of Defense. And he was responsible for investigating UFO phenomenon to determine if they had any defense significance. Oh. So like basically, are UFOs coming to attack us? Or are they like...
Do they have shields?
Yes.
Are they
or
like
are they
the
just
Death
kind
Star?
of, sussing out the territory and just taking a peekaboo? Or are they going to kill us? So he had a lot of interesting information. Also interesting on his part, and a few of the commenters said this, that like they're under NDA for a lot of stuff. From the government. So there are things that they couldn't say, which was kind of crazy.
Secretive.
I know. Sexy. And then there was Dr. Travis Taylor. He's an American scientist. So he comes from everything from like a very scientific standpoint and the scientific method. And he's written a lot of like technical papers and textbooks on things like the Skinwalker Ranch and UFO phenomena. Ooh. And then there is my favorite guy. This guy, Bill Burns.
Not to be confused with Bill Burr.
I was honestly just thinking that. Then there was the comedian Bill Burr.
Okay, let me talk to you guys about aliens.
Lighten things up. Bill Burns was maybe the one extremist on the panel. He kept saying the word taint over and over and over again.
Why?
Okay. So taint means to contaminate or pollute. So he'd be like, this rumor taints the UFO phenomenon, or this taints this. And I got the giggles so bad. Maria was like, you have to stop. Like people were looking at me because he said taint every other sentence. And I was like, this guy needs to stop or I'm going to have, I got like high school class giggles every time he would say taint. Let me read about William Burns for you guys.
Birnes.
Yeah. He believes that Earth has already been visited by many types of extraterrestrials. So he's like kind of the one extremist on the board.
Okay. You need one.
Yeah, he's kind of like a fringe UFO guy. He thinks that pictures taken by NASA have been airbrushed to remove alien activity. Oh. He thinks that NASA may have taken missions to the moon after Apollo 17, but the missions were kept secret due to alien interference and that they found extraterrestrial artifacts.
Ooh.
Yes, he also thinks that aliens are among us. Like, you could be an alien. Aliens are in the government. Aliens are...
Now that's crazy. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Transmission ended. He has like a very, that old horror movie, They Live. Like, yes. He kind of has a they live perspective on the alien.
I'm looking at a picture of him now. I get that.
Yeah, you get the gist.
Yeah,
he's also written, he's written so many books.
Yeah, so many books. The Day After Roswell, Dr. Feelgood, The Shocking Story of the Doctor Who May Have Changed History by Treating and Drugging JFK, Marilyn, Elvis, and Other Prominent Figures. That's an insane name for a book.
Yeah. So one of the things he thinks, and I tweeted this as well, is he said that JFK knew about aliens. He told Marilyn Monroe while they were in bed together. Marilyn Monroe started telling people, so then the government had to kill her.
Okay. That's an interesting theory.
As one does. Okay. So let me read. And I literally I felt like such a journalist. I was like taking notes while this.
With a pencil or a pen?
Oh, I wish I had a pencil. I was taking notes with a pen, but that would be so cool if I had a pencil. Okay, so first you might be wondering what's the difference between a UAP and a UFO? UAP, it's actually, it's unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Okay.
Because, well, it could mean both, but they prefer
Aerial or anomalous.
Aerial and anomalous. Mm-hmm. They prefer anomalous because this can also, it's not only aerospace. So when you say anomalous, it can also include like underground, like submarine,
underwater shit.
Yeah, because like what if there's a underwater UFO? You never know.
You never know.
So when we think of UFO, we think of, the movie flying saucer kind of thing.
Yes.
And they think that there's a bad connotation to the word UFO. And once you say UFO, people just kind of check out.
Sure.
Or they think like, you say UFO, you're a wacko. I'm not going to like let you into my office. Mm-hmm. If you say UAP, we're listening.
It sounds more professional. I'll say that.
Yes. It sounds more professional. It sounds more scientific, and there's not a stigma attached to it. And also UAP includes a bigger category. It's more nuts and bolts than UFO. It's broader. It includes things like sprites, lightning. Sprite, Diet Coke, lightning, like lightning that can't be identified or doesn't, cloud formations that don't
anything
follow.
In the sky that you're like those weird weather balloons that have been popping up.
Yes, or like things underground that don't follow like normal formations. UAP is basically anything that can't be tracked to any country, that hasn't been developed yet, like things that we can't, identify. UAPs can be tracked as far back as 1948 in government docs. Apparently, Hillary Clinton talks about UAPs in a Jimmy Kimmel interview.
Really?
I wonder if we can find that.
When she was running?
Hillary Clinton told the Breakfast Club radio show.
Now, if you become president, are you really going to tell the truth about UFOs?
I have said I want to open the files as much as we can. But there are enough stories out there that I don't think everybody is just sitting, in their kitchen making them up.
She's talking, of course, about the top secret files on whether space aliens are real.
Not conventional air.
Okay, I think we're good. So who knew Hillary Clinton UFO head?
I love that she was on the Charlemagne show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she was doing a real pro-UFO press tour. And also another thing is that UFOs, automatically people think they have an alien attached to it.
Right.
Like people say like UFO, oh, we're thinking aliens. UAP, we're not necessarily thinking aliens. We're kind of just like, what is that? Mm-hmm. Okay, also I learned some interesting stuff about Roswell in 1947. I mean, other people might know this, but Roswell, I guess, was like a nuclear facility or was next to a nuclear facility. And it was controlled by the 509th Army Air Force. And they were like the toughest Air Force group. Like they were supposed to be impenetrable. And a UFO penetrated this area. And so that was really scary for the government that like, oh, our highest security place with nuclear weapons had a UFO crash into it. So what could that mean for our defense? Like, are people from another or whatever from another planet going to come and steal our nuclear weapons, or like, what is this all about? So, I mean, this is what the panel said. Apparently, what the government did was they said that, I think this was Bill Burns who said this, my buddy Bill Burns. He says that the CIA went to Hollywood to illegitimize and fictionalize UFOs so that the idea of them wouldn't be scary to people.
Okay, I see.
And that's where sci-fi movies and sci-fi books and stuff were born.
Oh,
by the CIA.
Okay,
So-
Bill Burns.
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
The CIA got their pitch game on and, went to all the big directors and, they went to Warner Brothers and all the studios and said, you should do a movie about aliens and you should do a movie about UFOs. So then it got so ingrained in the culture that people stopped being
Right.
afraid of them. It just became entertainment instead of something scary. So then Roswell, and it became so ingrained in the culture that it wasn't like as surprising anymore.
Right.
Whereas like if it was something more, it became more of a fantasy than something real, which was kind of interesting. They also said that accounts of aliens have been around since the dawn of time, Native American petroglyphs, Bible passages, medieval paintings, which we've talked about before, that in some medieval paintings, there's like baby Jesus like pointing to a UFO.
Oh yeah, those
And we're like,
paintings.
yeah, we'll like post that. But I can't remember what, maybe it was the last Alien Con episode, but there
Was
are.
it with John Tenney?
Oh, maybe it was with John Tenney. Yeah.
Yeah.
In medieval paintings, there are depictions of flying saucers. And you're like, what is that? And then it was interesting. Bible passages, apparently it's in the first edition King James Bible. The book of Enoch is all about aliens, apparently. And then it was removed. Let me look into this. Okay.
Book of Enoch.
First edition King James Bible, Book of Enoch.
And when you look up, this is Deuteronomy 4:19. When you look up to the sky and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the heavenly array, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshiping things the Lord your God has apportioned to all the nations under heaven.
I don't see it. So I think like people attribute that to angels.
Yeah.
And they said they were like, you could think that they're God or demons, or are they extraterrestrials from another place? Like what makes you, what's the difference between something as an angel or a demon or an extraterrestrial? And like, what is the difference, Anything else of interest?
The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name.
Well, that's the Loch Ness Monster.
I was going to say, that's a Loch Ness Monster.
Well, that's Nessie. So yeah, if you know any other Bible verses that have to do with aliens, please call in. But it's out there.
The truth is out there.
Let's take a quick break for announcements. Webcrawlers has a Patreon to get access to bonus episodes, shout outs, merch discounts, fun videos, and interviews. Please go to patreon.com/webcrawlers. You can donate as little as $2 a month to become one of our bimbo patrons. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will shout you out. And Erios has a hotline. Insert jingle here.
626-604-6262.
It's time to call in again, guys.
Yes, it is.
Call in with whatever if you want advice, if you
Yes,
want to tell
advice.
us something,
A secret.
a secret.
You can call in anonymously and tell us a secret.
Melissa, I love that. Call in anonymously
great
and tell us
idea.
a secret, a confession, but nothing illegal. Because
Because
then
we'd have to tell the police.
yeah, and then that just gets like awkward and weird. But please call in for our mailbag episodes. We are so excited to have them back. Now, back to our program. And then there was something interesting about, non-believers, because there are people who are like aliens, phooey. But Dr. Travis Taylor, who is a scientist on the panel, said, we have 8 star systems, and these were in Canada. 8, maybe your husband knows, maybe Martin knows something about this. We have 8 star systems, Canadian systems, near us that are demonstrating signs of technological systems. Meaning they're emitting some sort of technology frequency, some sort of sound or vibration that we're picking up. There are star systems that have some sort of technology. Like, that's a fact. Also, this guy said, how many planets are there? It's mathematically impossible that there is no other life.
What is that? The Fermi paradox?
No, what's that?
We are the only people that exist. It's a discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life compared to the high a priori likelihood of its existence. Meaning, if life is so easy, someone from somewhere must have come calling by now. Like if there were life on other planets, we would have heard of it by now.
Yeah, but
That's
maybe they have
basically
no
Fermi's
interest
paradox.
in us.
Yeah,
Also,
maybe they do exist and they're like, we don't need to interact with you.
Yeah. Also, there are 700 quintillion planets in the universe.
Yeah.
So to think that Earth is the only one that has life forms on it is
just,
insane.
There's no way. There's no way.
And the guy said, grow up and understand math.
Whoa.
And I said, okay.
Not the way
I'm
they're
on
doing math these days. I can't.
Yeah, I said, I don't
See how
like
they're
math,
doing
but I'll do
division
it.
now?
Yeah, I'll do it. And so I'm not a believer in aliens. I'm not going to lie. But then he said that, and I was like, you're right. There's obviously, I don't know what kind of life, but there has to be something.
Some sort of like, maybe there's just a lot of fungus on some other planet, like living microscopically.
But there has to 700 quintillion planets. How egocentric that we think Earth is the only one where
That's
there's
true.
life forms. It's insane. He said Edgar Hoover was a big alien head. Oh, he said, so these are the people that the government knows about aliens and they're hiding it. And then another guy on the panel was like, okay, but who in the government? Like, can you be specific? They kept trying
Joe
to
Biden.
Yeah. Well, honestly, yeah. See, they kept trying to put Bill Burns in check, which I thought was good because he can be a bit of extremist, and they were like, be specific. So Bill Burns said J. Edgar Hoover knew, some guy named Arrow, Ron Thurman.
A guy named Arrow.
Yeah, I just have Arrow ? Senator Harry Reid. He says Joe Biden.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, he says they all know.
Kamala.
Oh, this is the best part. So he said, Bill Burns ended with this. He said, when you go home, ask ChatGPT about UFOs and unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Oh.
And then he goes, see if it will insult you like Bing does.
What?
Yeah. He was like, Bing, he thought like Ask Jeeves and Bing will like insult you when you try to research UFOs.
Like, no, UFOs don't exist.
Yeah, but he was like, ChatGPT is on board for alien
they
stuff.
acknowledge it. So what? So should I ask?
Yes.
Do
Be like, are aliens real or something?
aliens exist? As an AI language model, I don't have personal beliefs or opinions. However, according to the current scientific understanding, the existence of extraterrestrial life or aliens is still unknown. Despite that, given the vast size of the universe with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, many scientists and researchers believe that it is likely that some form of extraterrestrial life exists somewhere in the universe. However, until there is concrete evidence or contact, the question remains unanswered. So ChatGPT says it's likely.
Ask ChatGPT, like,
Am I pretty?
do you like me? Are there aliens like on Earth already or something, maybe? Or
There's no conclusive evidence to prove the existence of aliens on Earth. None of them have been scientifically verified. There's an absence of concrete evidence. Therefore, it's still unanswered.
okay, well, maybe Bill Burns got some better answers than we're getting because he seemed to like really be a ChatGPT head. He did say that, there might be a crossover between AI and extraterrestrials. Maybe there's some sort of link there or a meeting of the minds there. So who knows? So that was that. And then we went to a second panel. We only hit 2 panels because honestly, we got a little tapped out. Then we went to the second panel, The Unexplained Creatures and Cryptids.
Ooh.
And that was with Hugh Newman, Jonathan Dover, and Ken Gerhard. Hugh Newman is an explorer, a megalithomaniac.
Megalithomaniac.
Which I honestly don't even know what that is. It sounds...
What? There's a book called Megalithomania.
Yeah,
Dealing with
define.
megaliths, lost civilizations, and earth mysteries.
Okay, so maybe it's lost civilizations.
Is a large stone that forms a prehistoric monument.
Oh, is it like those rocks? You know, like Easter...
Stonehenge.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess it's some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's a stonehead. He
Stonehead.
also wrote Earth Grids, The Secret Pattern of Gaia's Sacred Sites.
Ooh.
Also, he's into giants, which
Oh.
are apparently real. And they're redheaded.
What? Why?
I don't know, but I'll get into it. Then there's Jonathan Dover, who is really, really cool. He was trained, he's part of Paranormal Rangers, which is a real thing. And I would love to do an episode on it. So the Navajo Nation actually had a sect of paid paranormal rangers.
Is he Navajo?
Yes. And they would look in the parklands and the areas, and they would investigate paranormal like crimes or sightings or things like that. Like,
Oh, that's interesting.
yes, like Bigfoot and skinwalkers and things like that. And it was like actually sanctioned by the government. They were paid. They were like a facet of the
wow.
Rangers, the paranormal Rangers. Really cool. So
Right, because Navajo land is New Mexico,
yeah.
Arizona, Utah, that whole area.
Yes. Yeah. So he worked for the City of Winslow, Arizona Police Department, the National Park Service, the Navajo Historic Preservation Department, and the Navajo Nation Rangers. He retired in 2011, but his whole job was to investigate paranormal crimes. I would love to have
wow.
him on. He was so interesting.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, right? And then there was
Sounds like a fun job.
yeah, can you imagine? Like someone's like, Bigfoot stole my baby, and he's like, I'm on it.
Bigfoot stole a dingo. H.O. baby.
Then there is Ken Gerhard. He's a cryptozoologist. Also, before I get into the information I learned, there was a family in front of us, and it was a dad and 3 daughters.
How old
And
are the daughters?
they were like, I don't know. I'm so bad at ages. Maybe they were like 8 to 13 or something.
wow.
And Maria and I were like, what do we think is the deal here? And I thought that it was like a divorced couple and it was dad's weekend and dad loves aliens. So he dragged his kids to the alien
That's
convention.
funny.
And I was like, oh my God, these girls were so bored.
Oh,
and
they were so bored.
they were so bored. They were like eating pizza and hot dogs and chips, and I was getting so hungry. But they were like zoning out, and these poor girls. It was so funny.
No.
Okay. So let's first get into cryptozoology. It started in the 1950s. Okay, this was interesting. There's cryptozoology versus supernatural, which apparently I thought was an interesting distinction. Mm-hmm. Cryptozoology are animals and things that could be real.
Right.
The supernatural like are things like, you know, like that probably could not exist.
Right.
So cryptozoology, you know, would be things like Bigfoot. Or Skinwalker
Loch Ness.
or Loch Ness
Chupacabra.
monster, Chupacabra. Yeah, I think supernatural or Jersey Devil, supernatural would go. I mean, I can't think of anything that would be supernatural instead of
Like apparitions and ghosts.
yes, yeah, like a poltergeist.
Right. Oh, like angels, dragons,
So that would be supernatural.
demons, centaurs, the devil, ghosts,
Vampires.
vampires.
But so those would be
Vampires are real. They
supernatural.
live in New Orleans.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen them on
We've seen
Vice.
Yeah.
I've seen them. Okay, so that was an interesting distinction. Cryptozoology was born in the 1950s out of traditional zoology. It has to be a viable species. One crazy thing I learned is Black Panthers aren't real. They're cryptids.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Google Black Panther. It's not a real thing.
What are Black Panthers real? Just like the superhero, Black Panthers are essentially fictional.
I died when I heard this information.
It's a term, dark jaguars and leopards. There are no... What?
I know. It's a cryptid.
There's a black jaguar.
Yeah, but there's no Black Panther. There's a black leopard, black jaguar, no Black Panther.
Well, that's news to me.
Yeah, that's a cryptid. So people think they've seen a Black
leopard and a
Panther
jaguar. Okay.
cryptid. Okay, so for this guy, my love, Jonathan Dover, the paranormal investigator, the Navajo paranormal investigator. In 2000, the Rangers started investigating the paranormal. They started investigating cases in Arizona in an official capacity when an elderly couple saw a Bigfoot. So they would investigate Bigfoot, UFOs, haunting cases, Navajo skinwalkers.
Yeah.
People said they saw huge black dogs, like Clifford-sized black dogs.
Clifford.
Yeah, giants, all sorts of things like that.
Giants.
And there's all sorts of mysterious creatures that have been in indigenous and, Aboriginal cultures throughout
bet.
times. You hear them in your legends and your stories, and they're passed down. They're in like pictographs, and now they're kind of recognized as, are they cryptids? Are they supernatural? One thing I never knew also is, that famous picture of Bigfoot that people are like, is it real? Is it fake?
Right.
If you Google like Patty the Bigfoot, that's what they call it, Patty the Bigfoot.
Patty.
And that's from the famous Patterson film. Look at the picture again. And this is something I've never realized. She has boobs.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Those are boobs.
Large pendulous breasts.
Pendulous.
That's what they called it that's another time I got the giggles.
There's a sketch that's like if Bigfoot were real and she has some huge knockers.
She got some titties. Yeah,
Wow,
Girls
Bigfoot.
Gone Wild. Yeah, there's tons of pictures.
Literally.
And yeah, she has, I don't know why I never honed in on those bazungas, but
I thought it was a male.
always. And I guess
Bigfoot is a boy.
misogyny, am I right?
Yeah.
Bigfoots can be ladies.
They can be, and they should be.
And they should be always. Bigfoot should be. Yeah. This Jonathan Dover said that it was reported small dinosaur type creatures like 3-foot tall T-Rexes that he investigated, giant rabbits the size of cars.
Whoa.
Yes, 40 feet. A bird with a 40-foot wingspan, which is believed to maybe be the Thunderbird.
Mothman.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Mothman, but he said Thunderbird. Yes, so really interesting stuff that he looked into. He said most of them unsolved. Then Ken Gerard, the American cryptozoologist, it was Hugh Newman, talked about giants, and apparently they're cannibals, redheaded, and
why are they redheaded?
I don't know. Let's do a Google. Yeah. Okay. So, and there's something about this cave. Like they were, the redheaded giants of Lovelock Cave. Some say that an early Native American tribe were giant cannibals in Western Nevada.
Oh.
They were the Sitika, a race of red-haired giants 10 feet tall who terrorized their neighbors with cannibalism. The cave is real, and you can drive to it via Long Dirt Road.
Ooh, in Lovelock, Nevada.
And he said, the stories are real too. All you need to do is Google redhead giants, and you'll find a raft of websites repeating the same tale. Guano miners in the cave found so many relics that in 1912, they turned the site over to a University of California anthropologist who recovered thousands of artifacts.
Oh, that's cool.
You will read how the recovered artifacts included human bones split open for their marrow. So but that's a really good question about why are they redheads? And I feel like that's more like anti-redhead, anti-ginger propaganda.
That is.
I have written Smithsonian ?
That could mean anything.
Smithsonian redhead giants. Let's see. Oh, whoa. Well, this is from Snopes. Did the Smithsonian destroy thousands of giant human skeletons?
Oh, well, did they?
The Supreme Court ordered the Smithsonian Institute to disclose that it destroyed several giant skeletons in the early 1900s to preserve the mainstream narrative of evolution. Okay. Well, believe what you will about that. It's from the website Snopes. Also discussed, and this was pretty much it, skinwalkers, which we've done episodes on before.
Oh, yes.
It's illegal in tribal law, evil. You have to sacrifice someone who's very close to you, who you love, and then through that you're initiated kind of by like another skinwalker or like a dark like witch in the tribe about like how to shapeshift, and you can shapeshift into anything. And
nice.
Jonathan Dover said that there's actually a case in Albuquerque, where two people in a tribe killed someone who was alleged to be a skinwalker, and they actually got off. Because it's like so ingrained in the culture that like this was evil, and like they were so pressured by their community to kill this person that like somehow they got off on the case. Like that's how ingrained it is in the culture.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then, super exciting, we got to interview two people from MUFON. We interviewed Earl Grey Anderson. He's MUFON's state director of Southern California. We interviewed Ron James, who's the director of media relations. And if you want to hear what they had to say in its entirety, that's all going to be on the Patreon episode. But I'll summarize. Earl Grey Anderson, who's the state director, he investigates with a team, you know, when people call in with sightings or abductions, etc. He and his team will investigate it, thousands and thousands of investigations. And he told me there's actually mental health resources in MUFON for people who have PTSD from their abductions or their sightings and things like that. So that's something I didn't know, that there's an actual therapy mental health resource capacity to MUFON. So if you want to hear that whole interview, is really, really illuminating, where they talk about abductions, what MUFON does, the history of MUFON. Join our Patreon because that was really interesting. Then we didn't get an interview with this person because honestly, I was scared of them. But there was a table of coalition of people who are against aliens, which I thought was kind of interesting for Alien Con. And basically, they're like, not in our backyard. And they're kind of, their vibe was like, aliens are coming into Earth and like probing our children. And Maria and I were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't get an interview. But
no.
Yeah, they're like, we don't know who aliens are. Aliens are evil. They want to take over our.
But they believe in aliens.
Yes. Oh, they believe in them for sure.
But they believe that they're
evil,
doing bad things. Okay.
Yes. And they said that these cases where aliens abduct people and they're like, good, and they say like you need to clean up the environment so that you don't destroy,
right, like Ruwa.
Yeah, like Ruwa. So he talked to Ruwa about us. He talked about Ruwa to us, and he said, that those cases where aliens talk about how you have to clean the earth or it's gonna go down in flames. He said they're only doing that because they eventually want to come and populate the earth and take it over. So that's why they don't want us to ruin it. They're not doing it for us. They want to do it for them.
Okay.
And
interesting.
I'm like, interesting.
Okay.
And he says that aliens are already here and that we can't prevent those ones. But we need to have, he's like, we need to have better border control for the aliens who might be coming soon.
Well, what are they coming over from Mexico? Where? How?
Yeah, he
They're from the
basically
sky.
was an alien trumper. It was very bizarre.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of what happened at Alien Con. Maria and I audio, video, the whole thing, all the interviews. Also, we have special audio and video that Alien Con sent us as well. That's all going to be on the Patreon. So join the Patreon if you're interested. And we'll be going to more conventions and things like this throughout the year. So if you're interested, join up. Melissa, if people know things about aliens or cryptids or have any other information, if you've been abducted or have seen a UFO or a cryptid, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
All right. Well, I am Allie, not in my butt, Siegel.
Melissa, probe me. Who cares? Stetton. Whatever.
Yes, in my butt, Stetton. All right. Bye.
Bye.